Today, our goal is to gain insight on the scoring of the everyday math tests that are given at the end of every unit. At the end of every math unit, there will be a unit test that will assess concepts taught within that unit. Every test will have a challenge portion, odd number tests will have an open response, and even number tests will have a cumulative section. The challenge portion, open response, and cumulative section will be explained further within this video. Everyday math tests are not a standard state assessment. Rather, they are a summative assessment that allows teachers to notice areas of mastery and areas of need for each individual student. Unit tests are not the student's final score. Rather, this is just one indicator or snapshot on how they are doing. Teachers also look at classwork and participation, journal pages, and homework when beginning to grade a student on a skill for report cards. Once tests have been graded, the unit test will be sent home with a cover sheet attached. The cover sheet will display first grade math standards correlated to the test and skill scores. There is a key above the skill score explanation that explains what each number represents. The focus is on progressing the student's learning with an end goal of having the child reach either a 3 or a 4. Skill scores are based on the percentage of questions answered correctly for each skill. 75% or higher is considered a 3, 65% to 74% is considered a 2, and below 64% is a 1. For example, your student may have received 3 out of 4 points on a question. When converted into a percentage, they would receive 75%, which in turn would be a 3. Teachers take into consideration the number of questions for each standard. Some standards are only represented with one question. So often a teacher will reference student work in the class to further gain insight in their learning. You may be wondering, well, why can't my child receive a 4 on every standard? Well, there isn't always an opportunity for a 4. The only time a student can receive a 4 on a standard is if they answer all questions for that standard on the challenge correct. Every assessment will allow students to answer a challenge question. However, they must be answered correctly to receive challenge credit. If students do not answer the entire question or the answer is wrong, this does not impact their skill score. Every odd unit assessment will have an open response. For example, Units 1, Units 3, Units 5, and Unit 7 will have an open response. Open responses are graded according to the rubric that is displayed on the cover sheet. There will be an expectation for students to use words to explain their thinking when it comes to solving their open response questions. If you would like to further reinforce at home in regards to the open response, please reference the family letters that are in the student's home links. The family letters at the beginning of the unit and at the top of each homework page is a great resource for understanding how concepts have been taught and the verbiage used within the lesson. On every even number assessment, there will be a cumulative section. Units 2, Units 4, Unit 6, and Unit 8 will have a cumulative section. EDM exposes content to students in a spiral. This means that students will be taught different skills multiple times throughout the year. Since EDM is a spiral, the cumulative portion assesses students on concepts that are expected to be mastered. These scores will be reflected on the cover sheet. If you're looking for further resources related to math scoring, please navigate to the district website under Curriculum and Instruction and Standards-Based Report Cards. There you'll be able to find the Grade 1 Math Standards scoring rubrics and expectations.